Welcome, friends, to the Tourism Matters podcast, where I, Carmen, explore the people, entrepreneurs, and ideas shaping the tourism industry today. Folks, in this week's episode, because officially 0 people asked for it, I am recording a solo episode. This was born out of a question that I was asked on a LinkedIn post, actually. And the question went something along the lines of, how can we better attract people into the tourism industry? So I've taken it upon myself to record this episode and give my 2 bobs. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't see myself to be the expert in anything. I have my own opinions that I have formulated over 25 years from a variety of experiences across a variety of countries, but nothing that I say is set in stone. So I welcome discussion about this, and I think discussion and differing opinions is fun and interesting. So if you hear me say something that you agree with or disagree with, gee, I'd love to hear about it. So here's my response. How can we encourage people into the tourism industry? Now, first of all, I just want to say, not young people, but people of any age. That's who I am referring to. The first thing I have to say about this is, and you might have heard me say it before, tourism careers have a PR problem. People can't choose a career that they can't see. They don't know if it exists. So we talk about careers in tourism, including travel agents, tour guides, flight attendants, hotel concierges. But these are all the roles that, well, quite frankly, we can already see. We can physically see these people doing these roles. People outside of the tourism industry know that these roles exist. What they don't know exists are things like destination management, policy, product development, state tourism organizations, inbound tourism, online travel agents, workforce development, even tourism education and marketing, commercial management, sales, all of these plethora of other jobs that exist in our industry and are required for our industry to operate. They're invisible to people that don't work in the industry. So how can we expect anyone to consider a career in the industry if they don't even know what the career options are? That's point number 1. We need to do a better job as an industry of educating people that are considering a move into the tourism industry as to what a career path can look like. And I mean a real rewarding and a viable career path, not a summer job, not something that you're doing on the side while you're studying. These are all, valid things. But what I'm particularly referring to here is a tourism career. The second thing I'd like to say is we need to talk to a broader spectrum than just students. So a lot of our state tourism organisations do a really great job of getting in front of school students, career expos, etc., school expos, and this is critically important. But we also need to be getting in front of parents, teachers, career advisors, and also career changers, people of any age that are reconsidering what their career has been so far in their life and perhaps want to consider the tourism industry, perhaps are looking for an industry that is a bit more grounded in people and place and maybe aligns with their values. So we need to be talking to a broader scope of person that's interested in the industry, but then if we are referring to young people, we need to get in front of the key people that influence their decisions about what they're going to do in their career. So again, teachers, career advisors, parents. So that's a work in progress. And I know that there are state tourism organisations that are working on this, and I applaud you. Yeah, this is something that definitely needs further work. Point number 3, we need to make sure that those that are considering the tourism industry are aware that there are multiple entry points. Formal education is great if you're that way inclined, but it is not necessary. There are many ways to enter the tourism industry if formal education is not your thing. It can be invaluable to learn the nuts and bolts of the industry, but specifically in my experience and from those that I've spoken to, the opportunities that you have to network, volunteer your time, and sort of get a foot in the door from some formal education can be really invaluable. Those opportunities are fantastic. However, if formal education is not lighting your fire, does not light you up, is not your strength, it's not something that you have the capacity in your life to invest in time and money, you don't need to. You can get a foot in the door without formal education. I might also say you can move between sectors of the industry and roles in the industry without having to go back and study. Plenty of people, including guests on this very podcast, have built serious tourism careers with 0 hours in formal education, tertiary education. So if it's something you want to explore and something that you feel drawn to do, there are many, many great options out there, from a Cert 3 in tourism, travel and tourism, all the way through to master's and postgraduate qualifications. However, if that's not your thing, it does not need to be your thing. I'll tell you what does need to be your thing, though: a good head on your shoulders and a good heart. But I think I might talk about that in another episode. So point number 3, formal education is great if that's what you're up for. And if you're not, it is not a barrier. I promise. The next thing I'd like to say is, and this comes up again and again and again when I'm talking to people in the industry, and I think sometimes we forget, travel and tourism is a fun industry to work in. Can we not forget that the industry is built around providing experiences, sometimes bucket list experiences, once in a lifetime experiences for our guest. Travel, place, culture, nature, food, events, adventure, making memories. This is what we deliver. By no means is every day glamorous. There's administration, there's rosters, there's grumpy customers, there's busted logistics, there's accounts and finance and all the other things. But at the end of the day, our industry is based around fun, life-changing experiences. And I think as an industry, we need to do a better job of exposing this to those that are considering it as a career. I could go on, but I shan't. Point number 5, I would like to say is that, and this has come up again in the podcast time and time again, the tourism industry can flex with your life as it changes. If you want to work in the tourism industry while you study to do something else, you can. If you want it to be an adventure in your early career while you travel, or to give you cause to travel, you can. If you want it to be a full-time, full-blown leadership pathway, career, it can be that. It can be something that you come back to after becoming a parent. I myself stepped away from the tourism industry when I first returned to work after having my son. But I did some corporate events for a few years, and I returned to the industry when the time was right with so many more skills that I'd learnt from my time in corporate events. The tourism industry can support relocation, globally, nationally, lifestyle changes. You want to own your own business, you can do that. You want to work part-time, you want to work remotely, you want to work in person. There is no linear career path, straight lines, rule book to follow when it comes to tourism careers. Your moves in and out of tourism within the industry, they're all connected chapters. And I think if we do a better job of getting this message out there to young people or career changers, I think it will help with positioning the tourism industry as a real and valid career choice. And number 6 is that once we have people in the industry, once we've lured them in with the funness and the flexibility of the career, knowing what career options are out there, once we've got them in, we can do better at keeping them in. We can tell better stories about where their careers can take them. We need to do better at keeping them in. If our people arrive in our industry and they feel underpaid, under-supported, undertrained, or invisible, overworked, they will leave. We will lose them. We can't market ourselves out of poor workplace experiences. Attracting the right people in matters. Retaining those people in, I would argue, matters more. We need people in the industry developing their skills, understanding how the industry segments work together, like I've said before, with a good head on their shoulders and a good heart, doing the best for the industry, for our guests, for our communities, for our environment, for the planet. We need those people to stay in so we can continue to evolve and grow the industry over time. So working with our industry to ensure that training and onboarding of those new staff members is done in a manner where they feel ready for work, ready for their new role, rewarding them appropriately for doing their job and delivering a good service to the guests in whatever form that is in their particular role. Providing opportunity for professional development and making sure that our staff and the people in our industry are getting the opportunity to develop themselves. We know that financial reward for doing a job only motivates an individual to a certain point. After that, it's their sense of purpose, sense of feeling part of a team, sense of making an impact to the mission of the organization. So we need to do better at retaining those people in the industry once they're in. So that's my 2 bobs. How do we get people into the industry? We show the breadth and diversity of roles that are available in the industry. We tell better stories about the career opportunities that exist. We make the pathways somewhat more visible. We talk to parents, we talk to teachers, we talk to career changers of all ages, not just young people, but people of all ages. We stop acting like tourism is a fun job before a real career, although it absolutely can be, don't get me wrong. And then we build workplaces that make people want to stay. Because like I said at the beginning, you can't choose a career you don't know exists. So that's my 2 bobs on all of that. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on anything I've said today. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, maybe there's something I've overlooked here. If you're still listening, thank you. I appreciate you and your ears. And I'd love it if you drop me a line and let me know that you got all the way to the end. It's great to know that I'm not yelling into the void. You can connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like to. Just look me up, Carmen Bold. You can also check out my website, carmenbold.com. I send a weekly-ish newsletter where I do a bit of a roundup of interesting jobs that I've seen, interesting articles, or just kind of interesting things, really. So you can sign up to that at my website. And it's been a real pleasure recording this episode. So let's all remember that tourism matters, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.